What's going on, YouTube? We are here for a week 7. Crazy that we're already week 7 recap and week 8. We're at week 8 pretty much now, actually. Preview. Before we get into that, before we get into the playoff race, all these different matchups, be sure to, as always, to like and subscribe. Comment down below what you think about the games coming up or the games last week. If you want to sponsor me, that email is in the description. Just reach out. One thing, I talked a lot about the USFL last year. Gonna wait a little on that. Probably mention it next once the games start, but not gonna do too much preview and everything like that. With the XFL winding up or winding down with the playoffs coming up and all these exciting games, I want to devote most of my attention there. So I'll mention those games when they happen next week. I'll be rooting for my Philly Stars. Got some merch coming in from the USFL. They agreed to send me some stuff, which is cool of them. But yeah, not gonna focus too much yet. So we'll get into all of the prediction, quick recap of the games last week, and then maybe a stock of the standings as well, and everything like that. Let's just get this going. All right, so we got the first game of the weekend was Seattle at Arlington. Arlington is in a nosedive. To be honest, I think Seattle played super well, but Seattle does have some help coming though. Philip Lindsay, former 1,000-yard rusher for the Denver Broncos, played for the Colts a little bit, is coming. I don't know. I haven't looked at the depth chart. I haven't seen that release yet if he's playing. I imagine he'll get some carries. I'm not sure how well he knows the playbook, but I'm sure he'll get some runs. So that should help their ground game, but not a bad ground game. Either way, actually. 22 carries, 115 yards. Ben DiNucci, always with the pick. Josh Gordon with that TD. Impressive catch. One sack. They had the INT for Quinterio Cole. Just not a great game by the Sea Dragons, but solid. Got the job done. They've won 5 straight now, so that means something. And they've beaten Houston, some good teams. Got their 2 of the last 3 games to talk about. Pretty tough. But all you gotta do is win the ones in front of you. Drew Plitt, I think he got injured. I forget exactly when he got injured, but he was injured in this game. He looked fine, just not impressive. Not bad job running the ball. Yeah, not a whole lot of scoring. Only the 1 turnover, 2 sacks, not great. The pick was a boneheaded pick in the red zone. I'm just remembering now. So not the best game for them by any stretch, but Luis Perez, I think, will be starting this week. Paxton Lynch is going to be the backup, it looks like. They just got him over. I forget if it was, I think he got waived by the Guardians we'll talk about, but I think Luis Perez will hopefully give them a little bit of juice coming up this week, but just a better team winning. No other way to put it. Seattle moves on, keeps himself in the playoff hunt, get ready for the big games in the coming next couple of weeks. Vegas Vipers at San Antonio. I was dead wrong about this game. I owe Jalen McClendon an apology. He looked really good, like shockingly good. I know San Antonio's a little beat up and everything, but their defense has been solid all year. I mean, he looked 21-31, 264 yards and 2 TDs. I think he started 1 game in college. They said he started like since high school. Maybe it's his first start since high school. He might have started 1 game in high school, or his last game he started was in high school. But he looked really sharp. The ball was putting the ball in good places, especially when I haven't played a lot. Maybe threw 100 passes in college total over 5 years. So like, not a ton of experience. He looked awesome. Their offense was moving and really doing some good stuff. Defense did a great job getting after Kurt Benkert for 4 sacks, an INT, a forced fumble, and they recovered a fumble. So that's huge. So this is a good win for Vegas. The season hasn't gone. I think they're officially eliminated from playoff contention, but always good to get a win. And Kurt Benkert struggled. He looked really good in their first drive, and then he got that hit to the ribs, and he was just not the same after that. I thought he looked pretty good. They got that hit to the ribs. I don't know if they called it a roughing the pass. I think they called it roughing the passer, but it wasn't that. A little tight, but whatever. He got smashed. And didn't was never the same. He had a rib injury. He's hurt. I forget who they have starting this week, even to be honest. I just read it too. But Jack Cohn's out. Kurt Benkert is out now. I don't know if Juwan Pass is going to get the run or if they have someone else. I think they're bringing someone else in too. Um, but I forget now. Oh, they're signing Kelly Bryant. I think Kelly Bryant, or is that Dallas? Kelly Bryant's coming to the next FL. But yeah, disappointing. I thought they had references moving with Benkert, 2 fumbles. Their defense wasn't able to get after it. Only 30 rushing yards you saw. They have not been able to run the ball since they lost Ballage as well. Not going to cut it. So they fall to 2-5, and Vegas moves up to 2-5. So the Brahmas are still in it, which is crazy. Dallas isn't exactly running away with it. They split the series. I'm not sure how the tiebreakers would work, but yeah, that's an interesting place for a second. I'll talk more about the standings in a minute, but San Antonio they need a win to have a chance, and they have a chance. So, or excuse me, San Antonio still has a chance. A win would have put them in a tie, but they still have a chance. Vegas, you know what? They might not going to win. They're not going to make the playoffs, but they're going to play hard, give guys shots to compete, and that's all I can ask. DC, the biggest upset of the season. I'm going to go the Guardians first. Why? Sometimes it does this. It's not resetting the stats, which I love. There we go. Quentin Dormady, balled out, 27-34, 328 yards, 3 TDs, got sacked 3 times. Running the ball was okay. This is Quentin Dormady. Quentin Dormady with 3 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. That is crazy. Truly unbelievable. Cody Latimer had a nice game. Katie Cannon, Jordan Thomas, each with TDs. Yeah, this was their offense was just firing on all cylinders. They got a sack. They forced a fumble. They played their heart. They played a heck of a good game. Especially nice to have it at home. That DC home crowd can be tough. So I think it helped those on the road, but great win. Again, a team that's not really playing for the playoffs, but probably mathematically still is in it in the South. But and Jordan Talbot didn't have a good game either. 21-29, 285 yards, 3 TDs. Abram Smith had a nice game with 18 carries, 127 yards of TD. It was just the defense in this one. They couldn't stop them. I mean, you look at their offense. I mean, they have Derek King. Derek King threw a TD. They had 4 passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, and they couldn't win the game. Abrams with a fumble. I mean, they didn't throw that many turnovers. Their defense just couldn't stop. Forced a lot of fumbles and some sacks, but just couldn't get it done. So DC still is fine. Probably just means they can't clinch for a couple weeks unless it could no, they couldn't clinch, I guess. I think if they won this week, they would clinch actually still, but just puts it off a week. So we'll see. But they're fine. Guardians get their first win of the season. Congrats to them. Congrats to Terrell Buckley. Moving a little quicker. St. Louis versus Houston. Houston has been not playing very well. I thought at home they might get some of their groove back. They've lost 3 straight now. AJ McCarron, 3 TDs. 3 TDs, 226, 34, 222 yards, running the ball, nothing special. Hakeem Butler with another TD. He's been, I think his stats are less good. Brian Hill with 2 fumbles, not a great day on that end. 2 sacks, a interception, a fumble recovery. Brandon Sebastian. Houston, they're just struggling. It's almost like Brandon Silvers was never that good. And he was hurt too. That's right. But Cole McDonald was fine. He's not the answer either. I think he's okay, but he's not experienced enough. Brandon Silva at least provides more stability. I think Cole McDonald, if he had been the starter all year, might have been. I think he would have lost more games, but he'd be better by now. So kind of take it or leave it. They've just really struggled. I mean, their defense only had 3 sacks. They recovered those 2 fumbles, but so they go to 4-3. They're probably gonna be fine in their division. St. Louis goes to 5-2. Quick stock of the standings. It's crazy. I want The Rock to step in and say that Seattle should make the playoffs because they absolutely should. So right now in the North Division, there are 3 teams better than any team in the South Division, and all 3 of those teams have beaten Houston now. DC beat Houston, St. Louis beat Houston, and Seattle beat Houston. So they're head-to-head better. Arlington, they've all beat or will beat if they haven't blood played them yet. I mean, it's just ridiculous. But this is gonna be a big game this week. Seattle beating DC would be huge. I don't know how they're doing tiebreakers, but I imagine division record would play a role. And if they could split with St. Louis, if they split with St. Louis, if they won the St. Louis game and they split with and they win the one against DC, they would have a better division record because they'd have beaten DC. So that would give them the edge in the playoffs, if they finish the same record, I think. Again, I don't know that for a fact, but in the South, I'd say it'd be interesting. It's just 2 garbage teams playing for the 2 seed, to be honest. Not garbage, but not as good as any of the second and third place teams, not even close. And even Houston's coming back to earth now. Yeah, the predictions. I got these lines today, Thursday. Got St. Louis -7. I'll pick it St. Louis. That shouldn't be there. This game, I'm torn on this game. I think I'm gonna pick Orlando. I don't trust Arlington. Luis Perez hasn't started in a while. I don't really feel great about that, but we'll see. Houston at San Antonio. I'm picking Houston. It's my best bet. I think they're going to demolish them. I don't even know who's starting for San Antonio. Not that it would matter particularly. DC at Seattle. I don't pick against the Dragons. I think at home they can have a big win. I'm a little nervous the DC loss, so it'll be close, but we'll see. And those predictions down the spreadsheet below as always. Thanks for watching, guys. And yep.